Get this up and running.
So early and you held the door for everybody.
Yeah. No, I got here at like 4:30 because I didn't know what time it was today.
Oh, poor guy.
Okay, we're ready.
I'd like to call this the August 13th, 2026 Zoning Board of the Village of Depew meeting to order. We're going to start with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
So it's my duty to point out the emergency exits of this room. In the highly unlikely event of an emergency, there is a door to my left, your right, and also the door that we came in. It leads back out to the hallway and out to the front. Can I request a roll call vote, roll call of the members present, please?
Sure. Member Menard.
Present.
Member Gallivan.
Present.
Member Overholt.
Present.
Member Yarborough.
Present.
And interim Chairman King.
Present. Got a promotion there.
Yeah, I guess.
Can I request the reading of the legal notice of tonight's request?
Okay. Please take notice that the Zoning Board of Appeals of the Village of Depew will hold a public hearing on August 13, 2026 at 7 p.m. Pre-board meeting begins at 6:30 p.m. in the conference room in the council chambers of the municipal building, 85 Manitou Street, Depew, New York, to consider the application of Andrew Ham on behalf of Buffalo Tungsten and Corp. For a variance on property located at 5601 Transit Road of Chapter 26, Subset 26-2A, A2, to permit them to construct a loading dock within 10 feet of the property lines as required by the village ordinance. Any and all persons interested in such applications will be heard at this time.
Thank you for that. At this time, we're going to ask the petitioner to come forward, state your name, your address, and why you are here.
Good evening. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. My name is John Vinton. I'm here as a representative for Buffalo Tungsten at the address of 5601 Transit Road. I'm going to have to memorize that because my mind goes to 2 Main Street.
I remember that.
But I'm here on behalf of the petitioner, Andrew Ham, who's the general manager of Buffalo Tungsten. And this gentleman, Tom Reynolds, I'll let you introduce yourself, sir.
Good evening, Tom Reynolds with Nussbaumer and Clark. We are the civil engineer and structural engineer assisting Buffalo Tungsten with this project.
And for the record, Buffalo Tungsten has retained the services of Nussbaumer and Clark Incorporated for doing all design, both civil and engineering, for the structure that will soon to be submitted via building permit. But underlying what the variance request is here this evening being considered.
Thank
So
you.
I'm just going to jump in quickly. Has there been any kind of conflict waiver with Nuss Clark because they're our village engineer?
I know I'm not aware of any waiver at this time, but I know Dave Britton is involved with the village, and he is not a part of this project.
Okay, I'm comfortable proceeding. I think when we get to planning, we'll probably need something a little bit more formal.
On behalf of the client, or the petitioner, can I ask for more details on that front? This is the first that's been disclosed that there may be a conflict of interest, so.
The village contracts with Nuss Clark and Dave Britton, who's more of a municipal engineer. They're on retainer and kind of renewed every year. So I don't doubt that Dave has no work on this project. I'm sure your engineer is telling the truth. I think we may just need a resolution of the board to waive that conflict to make sure it's not an issue. I don't want someone from the outside looking at this and saying, why is the village engineer the engineer for this company too? Did anyone look at that? So.
Understood. Is that going to be a continuance of this proceeding, or is this
No, I
not going
think
to stand in the
we're-
way of
I think
approval tonight?
if the board is okay with moving forward tonight, I'm okay with moving forward for the purpose of, limited request tonight. When you get the planning board, I think we should button this up with a town board resolution waiving the conflict before that.
Okay.
This board.
I don't believe they're going to planning.
Oh, I thought they just mentioned a site plan, sorry.
Yeah, so our anticipated, intention, rather, is to go ahead and once, assuming approval this evening of the variance, is to move forward through the building permit process to do the design, engineering, construction of the addition or extension of the existing structure.
This is a unique issue that we have never had come up before, so I would say in that case, I would ask this board to vote to waive the conflict, knowing that Nussbaumer Clark is our village engineer and also the engineer on the project, based on the affirmative representation of Nussbaumer Clark's, I'm sorry, what was your name again, sir?
Tom Reynolds.
Mr. Reynolds at Nussbaumer Clark, that our village engineer has had absolutely nothing to do with this project. So, let's go through the normal motions, hear the applicant, and then someone make a motion to waive that conflict. And you can vote however you want. If you feel you're only going to approve this conflict, this application because of the engineer, you're not being impartial. I don't think that's anyone here, but that's kind of the standard you should apply. Would you act differently if Nuss Clark wasn't involved? Does that make sense, everyone?
Yes. Assuming that any conflict would arise only in the event of that they were misrepresenting the facts of a property boundary survey or the actual floor plan footprint of the extension, that there would be some untoward representation of the project.
I don't think it's that intricate. I think it's just a baseline. Can everyone here be impartial, even though Nussbaumer Clark is our village engineer and the engineer on the project?
Understood.
So that's the baseline inquiry. I think the answer's a resounding yes from this board, but I'm not a voting member, so.
Yes, sir.
My recommendation would be have a motion on that before you vote on the project.
Quick sidebar. I've also hired Nussbaumer and Clark for other projects outside the village, one other project outside the village. Not you, not associated with this. And that potential conflict never even came to mind until just now.
I don't think that would be a conflict for you as someone who worked with them.
Okay.
I think.
Very happy
that's-
with the work.
Yeah, I think that's.
And the bill was paid, so.
That's further away your different roles.
Okay.
I think everyone can objectively agree. The village engineer, also being the engineer on the project, requires just a little bit of due diligence and protection. And I think you accomplish that with just a motion that this board waives the conflict, if that's what you want to do.
I have a question. With that being said, we talked about precedent and we talked about view from public, plain and simple. It looks wrong. It looks wrong. Regardless if it's upright and correct, it looks wrong from a grand scheme of things. Why is the village engineer building and taking part in non-village contract, but being the engineer?
I think that precedent has happened frequently, and I don't think there's a danger of impropriety with the inquiry we're doing here, because, when Dave was with GHD, they were doing projects all over the place and in front of plenty of municipal boards.
Fair enough,
It didn't come up then. These things do happen. It's just
Okay.
it's more about identifying it. So if someone looks at our record, they can see that it was flagged, it was made clear that the person who works for the village had nothing to do with the
Fair enough.
project. They just both happen to work for an engineering firm. But I'm not going to tell you how to vote.
Fair
It
enough,
is
okay.
entirely up.
I'm just getting clarity,
And
that's all.
If I might make the
Of course.
distinction here in the discourse, which I'm following fully, but there's a difference between an appointed engineer of record in representing the village of Depew underneath the organization of Nussbaumer and Clark Incorporated, right? So there's a named engineer that's the engineer of record representing the village.
Right.
Whereas Nussbaumer and Clark is an umbrella company that has many tiers of different engineers and services, and under which, Tom, I'm going to assume you're not the engineer of record for the village of Depew, nor are you, Michael?
No.
Okay, so these are the two gentlemen working in producing engineering drawings and.
Then that makes sense. It did just the umbrella of look
Yeah.
that someone could say,
Yes, sir.
here we are, what are you doing?
Right,
I understand where we are with the engineer situation.
Yep.
That's all I needed to understand.
And I can attest that I have had no correspondence with Dave Britton or Joe Wetzel or anyone that we usually deal with on a village level regarding this project.
You know, I would say I'd encourage this board to make the motion right now on the conflict
That's
before
what I was
you hear
gonna
the
do.
applicant. I think that's a better form of procedure.
So does anyone on the board want to make a motion that we continue deliberation and voting on this item, knowing that there is no conflict of interest between the engineer of record on this project and the engineer of record that is under contract for the village, that they are two separate entities underneath the same umbrella?
I make a motion to continue.
Second.
So I would just suggest a friendly amendment that it's formally to waive any potential conflict of interest with Nussbaumer Clark as an entity on this project.
which really puts the onus back on Buffalo Tungsten and Nussbaumer and Clark to guarantee that that conflict
Right.
of interest doesn't exist, right?
Right.
If that motion would establish that.
Would you like to amend the main motion to what Sam just said?
That is correct.
Okay, great.
Would you like to second that?
Second.
Can we do a roll call vote on this, please?
Yes. Member Menard,
Yes.
Member Gallivan,
Yes.
Member Overholt,
Yes.
Member Yarborough,
Yes.
and Interim Chairman King.
Yes. You guys, you're giving me a workout on my first
Yeah,
day
this
on
is a
Robert Rules of
doozy for
Order.
your first day. I'm sorry.
Aye, aye,
It'll be
aye.
a slam dunk.
A lot of times I just sit here and don't have anything. to
Training
add.
wheels are off.
That's why they keep me around, I guess. Sorry, guys.
So at this point, do I have any board members that have questions about the actual application and the request for the variance?
Nope.
Okay. Any questions from codes?
Just to verify for the record, obviously, we are expanding an existing loading dock so that it goes out to 1 foot from the property line. So you're gonna be asking for 9 feet of relief.
Yes, assuming we're grandfathered in on the already existing encroachment, right? Because we're 10 feet for commercial that we're already encroaching within 6 feet, I'm sorry.
4 feet.
4 feet of that.
Correct.
Yeah, so we want to extend another 5 feet, which would bring us to 1 foot within the property boundary, correct?
Okay.
So if this board votes in favor, the nonconformity goes away and you would be in conformity with the 9-foot, encroachment into the 10-foot setback.
Yes, sir.
Really weird technicalities, but it now brings you into a legal conforming status. Brings the building into a legal conforming status.
Meaning that we will be in conformance once the board votes on the approval of the variance.
If the board votes to approve the variance and then the actual loading dock is constructed, then yes,
Yes, sir. Per plan.
per the plan.
Right, and there'll be a second bite of the apple per se, once we submit for a building permit, that you'll have an opportunity to review that what we're proposing to actually build on the engineering design side is in conformance with the variance that's
Correct.
granted, if it's granted.
Really weird technicalities on this one,
Understood.
but yes.
Yep, understood.
Any questions from fire?
No questions from fire at all. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Any further questions from legal?
I think I've said enough tonight. Thank you.
At this point in time, anyone who's here as a member of the public is welcome to come forward. You'll have 3 minutes to direct your comments to this board. Seeing no one from the public, we will move on from public comments. So at this point, I read the criteria for a variance with the petitioner's answers. For an area variance, the first question is, will an undesirable change be produced in the character of the neighborhood or a detriment to nearby properties by granting of the area variance? Your response, no, there is no detrimental impact to existing conditions. The property boundary in question is shared with an adjacent industrial property. We concur, as a board, we concur with your response. Question 2, can the benefits sought by you, the applicant, be achieved by some other method other than an area variance? Your response was the only way this addition is complete is through an area variance due to being 1 foot away from the property line. We concur that there is no other way to achieve this, achieve what you want to do on this property other than going through an area variance. Is the requested area variance substantial? No, the area of the addition that will be in violation of the allowed setbacks will be very small relative to the total length of the property boundary on that side of the property. We, as the board, agree that the area variance is not substantial. Question 4, will the area variance have an adverse effect or impact on the physical or environmental conditions in the neighborhood or district? Your response was no, the current loading dock is set back 6 feet from the property line. It's already in violation of these existing setbacks, so it is believed by proposing an addition of 1 foot from the property line, it poses no adverse effect on the adjacent property. We as a board have discussed this item in our previous meeting, and the proposed changes do not impede the egress easement. This is not a public roadway. This is not visible from the public right-of-way, so that the area variance does not have an adverse effect or impact on the physical or environmental conditions in the neighborhood. Question 5, is the alleged difficulty self-created, which consideration shall be relevant to the decision of the Zoning Board of Appeals, but not necessarily preclude the granting of the requested area variance? The typed response, which, by the way, thank you for typing, this additional is necessary because it is the most cost-effective solution for the property owner. We, as the board, find that there's a unique hardship internal to the site in terms of the building layouts and also the arrangement of the buildings in the general vicinity, and this is your only viable option to request the area variance. What is the minimum area variance deemed necessary and adequate? So the drawings submitted with the application show an area roughly about 30 feet long by 19 feet, and that includes the loading dock, the area of expansion, the garage door. So the overall area that is being granted the variance for the building is limited to 19 feet by 30 feet, and that should include anything that's above ground, so support beams, facade cladding material, gutters, everything has to fit within the building envelope that's about 19 feet by 30 feet. This isn't a blanket variance that you can expand the entire building. It's just limited to the loading dock area.
Yes, sir. So the imaginary line would be the eave of the roof line that directly down relevant to the property line on the ground is what you're saying.
Correct.
Yep.
Just to clarify, on the building permit itself, it says they're building a loading dock 20 by 20, east face of structure expanding and reconstructing above. So what are we talking roughly 20 by 30, or are we talking 20 by 20? What's
on the sheet S101 that was included in the packet? It shows an area of 19 feet extending off of the back of the existing building by about 30 feet, including the steps, the garage door, and the retaining wall for the overall raised dock platform. So all of that is fitting within about 30 feet of the back of the building.
And Captain, I think this is probably an exhibit in the application. clear. Dimensionally, it sounds like we're overstating kind of the overall footprint, but we're 19 feet proposed line of roofing, and then 23 feet and 10 inches. So we are expanding on this side up to 3 feet and 10 inches. We're moving to the south a little bit.
I gotcha.
But what the chairman just cited in terms of dimensional, we're within that.
All right, let me just,
So I just want to make sure there's not a discrepancy in terms of what we're presented here, in terms of documentation and what will eventually be permitting drawings, that that we're within the envelope of what you're approving tonight.
okay. Thank you for that.
And if I may, Chairman, just to go back to point 5 that you read it for the record with regard to the typed response, but your language you previously in this hearing, unique hardship. We were remiss and probably should have looked at this more closely, but legitimately the underlying need and cause for this extension of that loading dock footprint is absolutely 100% safety-based. That the current operating space within there, it causes a safety concern for the company, and that's why they're making this investment, both on the engineering and construction side, is to improve that for the well-being and the benefit of not only the employees operating within that space, but also the adjacent public, passersby, if you will.
Okay, so that solves all 6 questions. Is there a motion from one of my fellow board members to approve or deny this variance?
I'll make the motion to approve.
Thank you.
I'll second it.
Thank you. Can we do a roll call vote, please?
Member Menard,
Yes.
Member Gallivan,
Yes.
Member Overholt,
Yes.
Member Yarborough,
Yes.
and Interim Chairman King.
Yes. So if that is everything for the good of the order, I would say we are meeting adjourned at 7:25 PM on the dot.
do we have to make a motion to adjourn the meeting?
No.
Okay.